Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do long-term reviews on a few knives that I've had for a while now. And these are some of the knives that I carry a lot, have carried a lot, have used a lot, knives I've loaned out a lot, and I'm always happy when they come back. And I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to do long-term reviews. These two I just got back in the last week or so from being on loan. I don't know, I just kind of want to do this. So let's start from the cheapest to the most expensive, I guess, in terms of retail price. This here is the Liang Field Duty EDC. You guys know I rave about Liang knives. I rave about the Field Duty, and I've raved about the EDC. This knife really only has one negative to it for me, and that's the closing action. I just wish it dropped shut. Like, it does everything else so well. You just have to give it the shake at the end there, you know? So I love the carbon fiber. It's a monoblock construction. You guys can see my full review to get all the details. This is just kind of like a long-term update sort of thing. It's an LMAX steel. And the thing I love about it is how comfortable it is in hand. That'll be a theme here. How comfortable it is in hand, how useful the jimping is. The blade itself is super functional. I love the full flat grind on it. And again, this choil just makes it a dream to hold. This is definitely one of the knives that inspired me when I initially drew out the Devo Knives Stout. Now, you can see a lot of differences, but you can see in the ergonomics that it has some similarities, and in the hole shape slot design, it has some similarities as well. And that's kind of where it ends, but really, really appreciate Liang Ma, and he's always been good to the channel. And he's just a good dude in general. So, yeah, just love his knives. The detent on this is incredible. This is manufactured by Riot, and they just absolutely kill Liang's designs. I mean, they're always spot on with the detents. Love them. It's a little harder to thumb flick than it is to reverse flick. Reverse flick is where it's at on this guy. The lock bar, you can kind of push it over a little bit and get a little bit of stick. But that seems to be a thing with all frame locks, to be honest. One other thing that's a little odd is the cutout here. The chamfering for disengaging the lock bar is all the way down here. So it's something you have to get used to when you get the knife, because I don't really push down here. I push like up at the top of that section, and then I get it to hit my nail, because if you push too far down, you end up getting swatted right in the, like, in the meat here, and it kind of hurts. So you get used to it real fast once you cut yourself once or twice. But you get used to all that, and then the knife is just absolutely incredible. And for cutting purposes, it's a dream, guys. Full flat grind, thin behind the edge, got a nice tip to it. Good for cutting out shipping labels, good for cutting into packaging. I haven't done that much crazy stuff with this knife. I mean, I think I've popped a few zip ties, cut some cardboard, but nothing outrageous, nothing like heavy use style, so I can't really speak to that. But this grip is just absolutely comfortable. I could see there being no issue if you had to use this for a longer duration of time. This is probably the only knife in my collection that has a show side and lock side that are different. Grab a sip of my coconut lime seltzer. Excuse me. Still got allergies or something going on, and sorry, the mat was a little off there. Yeah, I'm still getting over whatever. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of a show side and lock side being different, but I think the fact that it has that monoblock construction, which basically means they took a piece of carbon fiber and they milled it out in here to fit the internals and stuff, because this is still that same piece of carbon fiber. It's really cool. Do I wish it was a different material, like a freaking fat carbon or something? That would be insane, right? Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of this standard checkered carbon fiber, but it's cool. Yeah, I absolutely love the knife. It's dead centered. I have it on skiffs or Gillians or something like that always. A lot of people gripe about the clip, and I never have an issue with it. I take that back. There's sometimes where I go to, yeah, I think I just cut myself. There's sometimes I go to put this in pocket and I'm wearing thicker jeans and I have to rethink it and not carry it. Because it just doesn't want to go over your pocket well with that ball. So if you have thicker pants, it can be an issue. Let's check those body screws real quick for tightness. And that'll give me a chance to show off my good screwdriver here. This is the small one, the Little Beach. I did get a large one from them as well. That'll be a giveaway once I hit 4K. Yep, these screws are still tight. I like to check every once in a while just to see, like, are these screws moving at all, or are they staying in place? Because it seems like on most knives anyway, they stay in place pretty nice. I'm not going to touch the pivot screw because I usually always Loctite that. I don't know if there's any movement there, but let me see if I feel any play. Nah, no play. Any up and down? No up and down. My Cuff 3.0 did have a little bit of lock rock, but I did sell that one anyway. Yeah, so that's the Liang Ma Field Duty EDC. Just honestly, one of the best just EDC knives. And that's all it's trying to do. But yeah, on the close there, it just drops really nicely. But then you got to give it some shake. And that's really the only negative to it. Can't wait for the 3.5 Field Duty to come out this year or next year, whenever it does come out. I am on that pre-order. So that's that one. And we're talking about retail price. I think the Oz here would be the next in line. This was probably like $800 new, maybe. They might have been around the same price. Let's just go with this one. I absolutely love this knife, guys. It's just beyond that kind of thing. This might be my favorite knife in my collection right now. I really love the Evo, but it doesn't get nearly as much carry time as this knife does. You know what I mean? The double detent system is just outrageous on this. This is one of the earlier ones, so it does have the, it had a stiffer detent, and then I did send it to Oz to kind of get it tuned. So the way it used to be is it would be even more snappy. And as a lefty, you're putting pressure on the lock bar a little bit. So I never have an issue with it not being snappy enough on this. But it used to be even snappier, and it would be where I would lock it up by putting pressure on the lock bar, which kind of sucks when you're left-handed, right? So what I did was I sent it to Oz, and I asked him to tune it so that it was more like the newer ones, which the way he does the newer ones is they have less lock bar pressure, aka less detent, and for that reason, they almost drop shut, the newer ones. And I kind of told him to give me a happy medium between that and what I had. So what I ended up with was a perfect detent and a very smooth, not drop shut, but almost glide shut action. So I could not be happier with this specific example that I have here. I love the green ano on it and the Timascus clip with the green throughout. I did just put the Delrin bearings in, 1/4-inch Delrins in. I think I'm just getting the best action on those, so that's what I'm going with. There's no play of any kind. It drops, easy shake, dead center. This thing's an absolute home run, guys. The ergos on it, possibly the best I've ever felt on a knife. I mean, they're really, really good. They are flat scales. They're not contoured, but the way this is cut for your hand, it just fits like a glove. And he made it so it somehow fits like everybody's hand because the choils are big enough, I guess. I don't know. I've never had somebody say this knife is uncomfortable. So, you know, But for me, it's absolutely comfortable. This is an LC200N or Z-Finite steel. He does do Magna Cut now. I'd love to get one of the new ones. Even if it was a version I didn't want and maybe just do a blade swap or I don't know. I wouldn't mind another one, but just an absolute home run of a knife. My negatives on it, couple things. The blade, I wish it was something with a lower point and less belly. The stuff that I do day to day, I prefer a sheep's foot blade. I prefer a low tip and I prefer a straighter edge. That's just, that's just what I like. A sheep's foot, a reverse tanto, Warncliffe, something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, this looks sexier probably, right? But in function, I'd rather have those. Especially on a shorter blade, like 3.1 inches, I kind of want it to be a little straighter. You're losing a lot of that edge just going up in the belly, right? But I still love it. The other thing I don't love is a lot of people love this hole, and I do too. It works great for reverse flicking, but it's not the best cut hole for like thumb flicking. Even reverse flicking, sometimes you can like get caught in it. If your finger, it's too big, like your finger goes too deep into it. I don't know. It's just not my favorite hole design. It looks good. Absolutely looks sexy as hell. But something like the Field Duty, even though for the thumb flick, this one's harder because it's a free line. You got to stay off it. If you didn't have that pressure on the lock bar, I think this would thumb flick just fine. And then, like my knife designed, the Stout, you can get great leverage on the thumb because of the kind of just the way we have the width here, and this spot right here just allows you to get in there and thumb it out. It's Loctite right now, that's why I'm not going to do it. But yeah, anyway, it is a great hole design. I absolutely love this knife, guys. I just was saying it's probably my favorite knife in the collection, but that hole design is not the best. You could tell. I mean, look, it's got like a half moon and shit going on. The golf putter's gorgeous. The knife is just a home run, guys. And for the price, it's a no-brainer. Even at the raised prices of $700 base, you can't get a better knife, I don't think, guys. Honestly. And I overpaid for this. I paid $1,100 for this guy, and I would do it again. So, for whatever that's worth, there you go. That's the OZ Roosevelt. Now, last up, we have the Trevor Burger Custom LEXK-CFL. And another one I just recently got back on loan, and another one I absolutely love. Now, I have been tempted to sell it, and I will kind of try to explain that. It's hard to sometimes when you're, I guess, a knife content creator or whatever. You tend to want to get through things. You want to get new things, and sometimes you just gotta sell stuff. And I carry so many new knives all the time that it makes it hard to carry the knives I do own. You know what I mean? And so this doesn't see a lot of pocket time. To be honest, the Roosevelt doesn't see a ton of it either, but that's mostly because it's always loaned out. And I feel like I loan it out so that I don't end up with the problem I'm kind of having with the Burger. The Field Duty, I do carry a good bit. I carried it a lot more when I first got it and all that. But it's a lefty knife, so it makes it a little easier to get in pocket because I don't have as many lefty knives. I don't know. The Burger, just, I love it. I absolutely love this knife. I almost love everything about it. Again, other than the not dropping shut all the way, I like the Field Duty EDC. There's a little bit of play, and you kind of have to do that to get that kind of drop, and then very smooth but shake down, right? If I tighten that, it's going to end up being very stiff, and it won't even drop probably. So that's one negative with the knife. You kind of have to have a little bit of play to get the action you want. Now, I can feel it, and does it suck? I'm usually the guy who's like, it has to be as solid as a rock or I don't want it type thing. But, like, it's not an actual issue, you know what I mean? It's just a mental thing. And I'd rather have this action. So, for me, it's fine. It's dead nut centered. It's a handcrafted knife, guys. Just a gorgeous knife. The milling on it, the micro milling everywhere. I do wish this was like fat carbon or something. It's the one thing I've always wanted to have different. Love the micro milling. I love the blue accents everywhere. This hand satin is gorgeous. And then the thing that tops it all up is this full hollow grind. It's just a full hollow. It's ridiculous. I love it so much. You can reverse flick off of it because of that hollow grind. It's so ridiculous. Lefty ring finger flick. And then the ergos. It's so neutral, yet contoured, and it just feels so good in the hand, guys. It really, really does feel amazing in the hands. You get 3.3 inches of just absolute madness right here. It's LMAX steel, and the action is incredible. It just doesn't drop shut. It's the only negative. Doesn't drop shut, but it does that. You know, and I'll take it. I'll take it. But it's not the best left-handed knife. That's another reason I guess I've been tempted to sell it. You have to be down on the clip to do the reverse flick. Now, the the front flip left-handed is awesome because you're never on the lock bar. That's the thing with righties. You got to be careful on front flippers. As a lefty, you're never on that lock bar. So it makes the coolest sounds. Just an absolute dream. I love this knife, guys. I do. But yeah, it just doesn't get carried a ton. I think part of that is just because it doesn't have that easy lefty reverse flick. If this was super easy to do all the time, I think it'd be in pocket more often. It's super lightweight. It's just a great knife. It really is. But that doesn't mean I'll keep it forever, you know, even though I've said this is one of my favorite knives, and it is. I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. So that's the Trevor Burger LEXK-CFL, the OZ Machine Company Roosevelt, and the Field Duty EDC from Liang. Those are some long-term reviews for you guys. I don't do that enough. Knives don't tend to stick around for me all that long, you know, so maybe that's why. And because I'm always on to the next thing, you know, so that's just how I am. But I love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is there one of these you would like to have out of all of them? I'm guessing a lot of people are going to say the Rosie, and I know why, because I own one and I know exactly why. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, it really is. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.